Richard Gordon. He is the chairman and CEO for the Philippine Red Cross. And Richard, thank you for joining us. Good to see you once again. I know you have your teams out there. They are fanned across the Philippines. And as the Red Cross prepares for the arrival of this super typhoon, what is your chief concern, your greatest concern right now?
We're concerned about storm surge. We're concerned about flooding. We're concerned about high winds that will, the waves will take out the homes along with the winds. And certainly, when you have that, we hope that the people are adequately prepared by evacuating to higher ground. And certainly, what concerns me afterwards is the crop damage. We're in the middle of a minor rice crisis. It can become worse than this because this is a rice-producing area. And certainly, our people are out there to make sure that we can alleviate human suffering right away.
Yeah, you're concerned about a number of things. You mentioned crop damage, just storm surge, flooding. We know that the Philippines president, Rodrigo Duterte, has been holding meetings to consider extra measures ahead of the arrival of the storm. Do you have any additional recommendations? What more should the government do to prepare for Super Typhoon Mangkhut?
Well, number one, we have to make sure that our people are safe. They're out of harm's way. And that means we have to make a decision right away on the points where they can be. We have evacuation centers, no longer the schools, according to the government. And that's good. Once you get them out of the way, then the government must have their continuity plan in action, which means they're on the job. Everybody's there, not just the soldiers, but the government must make the people feel that they are there so that they can react right away when there's a need for it. And certainly, the government is very much prepared with foodstuffs. But of course, a lot of people will lose their clothes, their belongings. So the Red Cross is coming in with non-food items. Now remember, this is not the first time this is happening here. This is a Category 4 typhoon. We had a Category 5 Megi in earlier years, in 2010, if I'm not mistaken. And we lost a lot of, we had about 69 people dead there, as well as another storm called Haima, where we lost another 57 people. And then Category 5. This is Category 4. But the SWAT here is wider. So that means a lot of ground will be covered. And although it's a Category 4, it's capable of creating a lot of suffering for our people.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, the Philippines is familiar with this. We've talked before in the aftermath of Super Typhoon Haiyan and other major storms. You and the Philippines very familiar with major storm systems occurring on a regular basis there. Do you feel that the Philippines is getting better at disaster preparedness ahead of these super typhoons?
The irony is we're getting better, but the storms are getting bigger. Maybe climate change is indeed onto us. I mean, they know that we're better prepared. We have more evacuation centers. We have more people on the ground. We have more equipment on the ground. Logistics can come in fast. But the storms are getting stronger and harsher. So we really have to ratchet up our capability. In the Red Cross, we have volunteers. We have our logistics. And we have our information technology, which means that we can contact our people right away, right on the ground right now. If something happens out there, we'll have teachers, policemen, volunteers, young volunteers who will tell us what's going to happen so that we can react. And we have field teams there right away that can immediately assess the damage. They don't have to be in the area right away, but the moment the storms pass, they're going to be there to assess how many houses have been destroyed, how many people need help, how much scrap has been destroyed, what do they need? Do they need water? Do they need payloaders to clear up the debris? Do they need saving? Certainly, there will be a lot of people who need to be saved. Where are the landslide areas? What are the lifelines affected, such as power, water, communications? These are the things that we have to go in right away with the government. Certainly, we're working together as a team, and hopefully we can assuage the harshness of this typhoon.
Absolutely. Richard, it sounds like you have a plan in place. Here's wishing you and your teams across the Philippines the very best as you prepare for the arrival of this super typhoon and try to protect civilians and to keep them out of harm's way. Richard Gordon, CEO of the Philippines Red Cross, joining us live from Manila. Thank you.